Why, hello there, everybody. Cloud43 Chief Meteorologist Andrea Michaels here with the latest installment of On Cloud43, where we just take our good old time here and we slowly walk through the forecast and talk some other interesting topics as they might pop up, of course. It's a good opportunity, too, to answer any questions that you might have. Sometimes we can really go off the rails as far as the train goes, but we always bring it right back on the tracks too and have a good time along the way. So yeah, Keith, you got here early. I was actually almost a little bit late to the party, but thanks for joining in here. Of course, we've got a quiet week ahead in weather, so I might have to really work a little bit of magic here just to make sure I can fill up a little bit of time here. Hello, Adam. Thank you for joining us once again this week. We'll get right to it since a couple of you are already pouring in here. And we'll start with the daylight saving time topic. Obviously, that came to an end, so we are no longer running on daylight saving time. We have switched back to standard time. Can be a little bit of a quote-unquote hot topic, so to speak. Oh, it was nice, wasn't it? I'm glad that you got to go for a bike ride and enjoy it. Me, I was inside just doing a whole bunch of errands, Keith. It was not so fun. I have to go outside, though, and I have to change out my Halloween decor now with my Thanksgiving decor. I did it inside, but I ran out of time before I could do it outside. But tomorrow will be a nice day, too, a mild one, so it'll be nice regardless. Yeah, I know, right? But anyway, so yeah, daylight saving time. It's come to an end. Hopefully everybody survived the time change. It's that wonderful time of year where we move the clocks back an hour and move back to standard time. It's kind of my holiday of sorts because you get that extra hour of sleep. And considering it was my little one's birthday on Friday and she had her party on Saturday, it was quite the busy Friday and Saturday for me. So the extra hour was definitely needed. Although, of course, go figure, I couldn't fall asleep when I tried to for that 1 hour, so I guess it canceled it out. Is what it is, though, and now it gets dark way earlier. 5 o'clock sunsets, and we're talking early 5 o'clock. So with that said, let's talk sunset times in South Central Pennsylvania. I know, I'm going to be pouring the depressing on you. Oh, Brad, you hopped on here. Yeah, no snow in the immediate future. I think we're going to have to wait until closer to the end of the month, perhaps into early December, before we get our first crack at that. Gregory, thank you for joining. Yeah, this time change. It's always worse, though. I feel like it always messes me up so much worse when we have to move the clocks forward an hour. I think it's the whole you get that less hour, the one less hour of sleep that kind of does me in, but it is what it is. I personally, I mean, I know, Congress and all that, they always say every year some of them want to get rid of it, and then there's always that talk, and then it never ends up happening, so who knows when it'll actually end up happening or becoming a thing one day. But I would just prefer to stay on standard time, personally. And selfishly so. That's because, when we're running an hour ahead of time, I technically get my computer model runs an hour later. So instead of them all coming in by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is what they do on standard time, I have to wait until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I don't like that. I definitely prefer getting them earlier, especially when we have a 4 o'clock newscast, of course, and when there's a more difficult snow forecast where you want as much time to crunch through the numbers and not feel like you're being rushed and whatnot. So that's just me personally. I know everybody, I'm sure, has their own preference, but one day it'll happen. Till it happens, And until then, all we can do is, well, keep doing it and keep, throwing our bodies out of whack 2 times a year. But here's a look at the depressing, or maybe not. I know some people love this time of year, but I know a lot of people, don't like the later sunsets. For what it's worth, though, I should do a graphic on this. I think this would be interesting. When it gets to December, the winter solstice, if we stayed on daylight saving time to see your sunrise mornings across the nation be at like 7, 8, even in some instances closer to 9 o'clock in the morning, That's one of my personal, sure, having sunset times during the 4 o'clock hour, like we see here in 2 weeks and in a month, is equally kind of blah. But I feel like having those later sunrise times, when you weigh it, I feel like that's harder to deal with out of the two. Personally, chime in and you let me know what you think. Anyways, today's sunset for Harrisburg, by the way, this is specifically for KMDT, Harrisburg International Airport in South Central Pennsylvania, just so that folks who might be chiming in from a different area, joining from a different area, know, where we're talking about here. But these aren't going to vary too much, especially if you live in Pennsylvania. So 5 o'clock, 5:03 this evening was our sunset time. I believe it was like 6:04 or 6:05 last night, if memory serves me correctly. 1 week from now, so next Sunday, November 9th, in the year of our Lord, 2025, it is going to be 4:55 p.m. Oh yeah, that's right, this Wednesday, that's going to be our first sunset before 5 o'clock. I believe it's 4:59 this Wednesday, so we only have a couple days left of 5 o'clock sunsets. In 2 weeks, we are looking at 4:49, and then in a month, which would obviously push us forward to December 2nd, 4:42 p.m., and that gives us a nice 10 hours and 25 minutes in total of daylight for today. Obviously, we'll be shaving some time off of that by the time we get to December 2nd. It's okay. Nature's usual cycle, right? What's up, Dominic? That's a throwback. Are we doing like what's up, Budweiser, circa, what the heck year was it? Like early mid-2000s? I'm trying to remember when that was. I know I was a teenager in high school when those were cool. So cheers to that. That is quite the throwback, but it was hilarious. Brad Myers, what about rain? What rain? In this forecast, there is unfortunately not going to be much rainfall. At least during the week. There might be some opportunities for the weekend, but it doesn't look like it's going to produce much, even if the showers do come to fruition. Definitely not on the order of what we got last week with that nice big soaker that we really needed. But, you got to take the good with the bad. At least we did get that soaking. And I actually do have a graphic here showing how it kind of helped cut into the deficit that returned this year for Harrisburg. So there is that at least little takeaway of positive news. And I'm always here for the positive news whenever I can sneak it in. Got to try anyway. Anywho, let's see. Keith, you think we should just stay on daylight saving time instead of standard time? Okay, so 1 for standard time, that's me, and then 1 for DST, that's you. Alrighty, let's see. Oh, you commented again. How about if they have standard time in the morning, then back to daylight saving time in the afternoon? Then we'd have to shift back and forth, like, what, each day, right? I don't know. That might be a little much. Just trying to wrap my head around that. That makes my brain hurt. And that makes my body just want to keel over and die from exhaustion. Just pure physical exhaustion. But, but here we are, whether we like it or not, right? Until Congress finally does something about that topic anyway. A lot of things anyway. So, talking about the forecast, moving forward for tonight, you'll find that these are your weather headlines. It won't be as cold tonight, and that's because we do have some passing clouds. So if you woke up frosty this morning, which many spots did, with temperatures mostly in the 30s, the numbers will be a little higher and a little more seasonal because of these clouds. We'll talk about that, but most of us are going to end up on the dry side here. Through midweek, though, we'll have some mild afternoons. Yes, I already know what you're saying. I said that there was the possibility of a quick cold hit of air on Tuesday, which would be 2 days from now. I said I was either going to be happy about it or I'd be wearing egg on my face, and the answer to that is, do you like your egg scrambled, over easy, sunny side up, or what? Because I have the egg on my face. I joke, I kid, but yes, didn't pan out. Just we're switching too quickly from a negative NAO to a positive NAO and vice versa with our P and A pattern. I thought it might have been, especially with the strong signaling, enough time to quickly fit it in before we completely got out of that favorable territory, but we were well on our way and it just wasn't enough to overcome despite how strong the signaling had been. Boy, that fell off quickly though after Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday was completely gone by then. So yes, mild afternoons. I owned it, like I said I would last Sunday if it was going to happen the other way, which I think is important. I 1,000% believe in accountability and ownership in every walk of life. And then moving forward beyond then, there's several breezy days. I mean, happy fall, everybody. Those transitional ones. Scrambled? Okay, Dominic, I'm glad you're a scrambled fan. Most days I like a good scrambled too. If you do it the light and fluffy way, a little bit of heavy cream, and you go slow. If you take your time and you go slow, you get that like nice silky scrambled egg, and it's just so tasty with some butter. Heck yeah. Yeah, I know, Keith. Can't win them all. Yeah, I know. And it's hard though, because I'm a perfectionist to a fault, so I picked like the perfect profession for a very strong type A personality like that, right? Yeah, it's constant disappointment, but you know, it's also challenging, so you regroup, you learn something new, at least hope you know, do a little better with the pattern recognition and the little caveats moving forward, and we'll see. Go figure, there's another cold hit of air being hinted at too in the day 7-8, but we're not going to have our negative North Atlantic oscillation pattern. We'll be teetering near neutral, and we'll be barely positive with our P&A, which usually does not equate to anything cold. So I'm approaching that one a little skeptical already, but you know, hey, we'll see. Time will tell. Breezy days ahead regardless, though. It's that time of year, so if you have leaves to rake, I noticed a lot of leaves all over the place. Oy, you might have some difficulty this week with that. So here's a check. We'll just get right to it with our weather impact 7-day forecast. I mean, it's really not a bad one. It's a quiet one. I wish we had more meaningful rain in this forecast than what little I have to give you, especially after, you know, last week. Whenever you get a nice rainfall, you would at least hope that you could keep the momentum going. And even if it's just like a quarter to a half of an inch of rainfall every like 3 days, you would at least hope that you could keep it going. But unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. At least if I'm pointing out the bright side, because again, that's what I like to do. Tuesday, you know, voting. If you're heading out to the polls, waiting in lines off your election, usually the polls aren't that busy. They shouldn't be. Everybody should be voting even on these off-year elections, but you know, everybody does. You do you. No judgment here. But at least, you know, it's good weather for that. A little breezy. Mild though. Shouldn't be freezing too much. Chilly start in the morning though. It's exactly what you would expect this time of year anyway. And then a little milder Wednesday. Late shower. Breezy conditions. I mean, 66, and I felt that 66, you know, I don't like making drastic changes when I come into a forecast, especially after having my 2 days off, but I was really tempted to go higher and go 70 for Wednesday. If I'm feeling it too by this time tomorrow, or I guess when I'm back in tomorrow afternoon, yeah, I might have to go for it. We'll see how that goes. Oh, oh wow, a lot more people jumped on. All right, here we go. Ron, hi Ron from Shiloh. Thank you so much for joining. Christy, yeah, no snow this week. I don't know if you've joined ever on these, Christy, but I did mention the last couple of weeks. I think we'll start to see our chance for some snow open up. Now, obviously, this is far from a promise, but I think we're going to have to wait until later in the month and then into the month in December in particular, which kind of is going to end up falling, climatologically speaking, around when we get our typical first snow anyway. I don't know if, you know, a few flakes count for you, a dusting, or at least an inch, but I believe it's the first inch that's climatologically for most of South Central Pennsylvania, whether it's early December or the middle of December. So I think, you know, yes. Anyways, Adam, good job on that 5K today. I am not a runner. I cannot run. I am a speed walker. I would always like laugh because in high school, when you had to do gym and you had to run laps, the girls that smoked, I went to an all Catholic girl high school, by the way. The girls that smoked were running faster than me, and I was like, how is this fair? Obviously, I know a little more goes into it than that, but it was just crazy to me that they could run better than me. I would always joke about that just to put in perspective how bad I was at it. Yeah, speed walking and weightlifting, although I've been off the bandwagon for some time. Just so busy, a lot to do at home, a lot to do here. Last week was, a week. Those late nights because of the World Series did not help, especially last Monday. That was a nightmare. And let's see. Oh, yes. Yes, Keith, definitely go cast your vote. I always just do the mail-in ballot just because it's just, oh my goodness, with my busy lifestyle, it is just incredibly convenient. I had mine in weeks ago. I do it as soon as I get it so I don't forget it. I mail it. It's already, I got my email saying they've got it. And now, obviously, on election day, well, probably by the next day, I'll get the email saying, okay, it's been registered, tallied, or whatever. I forget the exact wording. But it's a really, I mean, so convenient for people who are busy, incredibly busy. So, yeah. And then, yeah, I know, 70, right, Keith? I know. Crazy coming off of that very below average streak that we had for much of the last 2 weeks or so. I mean, I believe we finally broke it near the end of last week. Not Halloween. Which day was it? It would have had to have been Saturday. I'd have to check up on those numbers, though. Oh, man, how about Penn State football? I mean, obviously, it's going to be rough the rest of the season. I mean, I'm not shocked. I think at this point, especially after firing Franklin, which I agree with some people, it probably should have come much sooner, because if you can't win the big ones and the only reason why you're getting to the end is because you're winning less important games, and it just, it's just, I mean, I'm grateful. He helped rebuild the team after what was a, rough time for the school, and obviously the football, the football department and everything, and so we're grateful to that, but I think a change needed to come a little sooner than that. But at this point, I think it's kind of just a lost cause. Cut your losses at this point, and hopefully find somebody who can get us to where we need to be and the caliber we need to be to compete better. It is what it is, unfortunately. And then, Saturday was pretty good. Yesterday was a blur to me because of my child's party. I mean, it's crazy how 2 hours, a 7-year-old's 2-hour party, wipes you out. It's insane. I think we were more wiped out than her, my husband and I. It's just, oh man, it's crazy. But, anywho, mild through the midweek, obviously. A quick little dip in temperatures. Mostly seasonal, though. The average high now, starting in November, is 59 degrees for Harrisburg. So obviously in other spots like Lewistown, so to speak, in Mifflin County, or Chambersburg in Franklin County, it's obviously a touch cooler by a few degrees or whatnot, depending on where you live in our area. But, I mean, this is a mostly either seasonally cool or seasonally mild heading into the weekend, and just some really quick systems, and I'll explain this in a second too, that are just going to keep shooting through. They're going to move too fast to produce too much rain if we do get a few showers out of it. And the timing of them, the models, they're a little shaky on them right now. There could be some changes with the weekend forecast. It wasn't the highest confidence weekend forecast, or at least 5 to 7 day period that I have put out. Not going to, hold that bit of information back, but sometimes that's just the way it is. And especially, I can tell the pattern wants to turn. It's trying to transition to winter time. I mean, you've got that, when I see it, you've got that La Nina track, you've got the dip in the jet stream coming through the north central portion of the nation, through the Great Lakes, the storm track. I mean, it is looking already like classic La Nina. The question is, can we push that storm track more to the south and get snow lovers a little more snow and whatnot out of it? Therein always lies the question. The question we'll be diving into this week, because we will be working on our winter weather outlook, and in 2 weeks, just about, oh yeah, 2 weeks from today actually, the 16th, that'll be airing. So that's my way of quickly teasing that out to you guys for sure. Drought monitor though, this is the latest update. There is new update to this. I do want to say though, the rainfall is not included in this from last week because these measurements are taken Tuesday, and obviously the rain came after Tuesday. It was Wednesday into Thursday, mostly Wednesday night and into Thursday, a good portion of Thursday morning. So this will be accounted for in this week's drought monitor update, the one that will come out Thursday the 6th. So just want to preface this by saying that. We did see, for those who didn't catch the update, we did see some improvement in Mifflin County. That's pretty much held. This really doesn't look too different from the outlook from the week beforehand. Still this little sliver of the drought 1 or D1 category trying to sneak its way across the Chester County border and into portions of eastern Lancaster. But I think the rain will help a decent bit with that, especially in northern Dauphin County. There was a ribbon of higher amounts, roughly right about where I'm highlighting it here. So I'm hoping that'll help parts of Perry and Dauphin County at least get rid of this D1 category. So let's hope so for sure. But how does that do for the yearly rainfall? Obviously, since it's November 2nd and it was dry yesterday, dry today, I'm not going to bother showing you the monthly rainfall for this month. That would just be silly and would provide no value when you're only 2 days in. But I can tell you, we did take a chunk off of this deficit. Instead of approaching 4 inches now, we're a little under 2 inches. So, you know, progress is progress here. Let's hope with the continued active pattern, maybe we can pulse in a couple more rainy systems similar to that through the rest of the year and hopefully at least break even somehow. That's what I'm hoping for at this point, to either end slightly under or mostly break even. I think that's probably the best we can ask for at this point in the game. Tonight's not going to help us. There's going to be a system developing and bringing moisture or showers along Delmarva. You'll notice that. That's why we saw the clouds filter in later in the day, and those clouds will stick around through the night. That's why we're not going to be able to get as cold tonight as we were this morning, and we won't get frost either in most spots. If our northwestern counties, though, like Mifflin, maybe, and Juniata counties, stay clear enough long enough, it's possible those counties could get a little frosty. But a vast majority of our area, you're going to have the clouds, and that's just not going to allow for that to happen, unfortunately. Even if you do manage to fall into the 30s, clouds just prevent frost from forming. You need clear skies, you need light to calm winds, and those are the two main factors there. Of course, you also need your temperatures in the 30s to do that also. So it is what it is, but, you know, most of us at least won't have to scrape ice off the windshield in the morning. You don't have to take those extra minutes. Oh, shoot. I wanted to back that up there. I totally missed. Okay, I'm going to have to start this over, guys, because I was a derp and missed one of the big points I wanted to bring up here. You'll notice that the showers just stay southeast of us. Now, early in the morning, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the southern tip of Lancaster County, maybe extreme southeastern York County, don't be shocked if you end up getting a stray sprinkle or a light shower. It's either going to just miss you or just clip you. So I can't entirely rule it out here with how close it is. Sometimes with these systems, you know, one last pivot a little too far to the north and to the northwest is all it takes. Everyone, or mostly everyone anyway, will start with a decent amount of clouds, but as this thing pulls away through the day, notice it moves out to sea. It's increasing sunshine, and then through the afternoon, it turns breezy. The winds won't be so bad in the morning. It'll be a gentle breeze and whatnot, but you'll notice throughout the morning, and especially during the afternoon, that that breeze is going to pick up. But we'll have increasing sunshine, though. Plenty of sunshine by the end of the day. Multiple weak waves are going to cross through here, and they are going to kick up the breezes. So with that said, with the leaf drops starting to happen here, we had those strong winds shaking them all off, especially Friday. Oh my goodness, I was so mad Friday because I lost one of my child's balloons. I had paid $10 to blow up. And it was like one of those big character balloons. And of course, like one of the bigger balloons to blow up that I spent the most money on got blown the heck away. I didn't think of it in the moment to hold those tabs. I was holding it by the string because it was so many, and gosh, I am so mad at myself. But she didn't notice, she didn't care. I was the only one who noticed, so I guess at the end of the day, that's what matters. Anyways, as far as your leaf breaking conditions go, no real rain in the forecast. Like I said, I got that 10% chance in for that stray sprinkle southeast that we just talked about, but for most people, this is not going to be a problem. Morning will be decent, but remember I said it does turn a bit breezy by the afternoon, so it could be a little harder. Things might blow away if you don't bag them immediately, and I know some people, depending on what their township does, I know some of them have like those machines that go sucking them all up. You're supposed to just like leave them in a pile along your house. I don't know who does that in this area, but for folks who that, where that is a thing, yeah, it could be a little difficult, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. I think those days from start to finish will be breezier, comparatively speaking, where we're talking wind gusts between 20 to 30 miles an hour. Later in the day, Monday, will be more like a 20 to 25, just for some perspective. So it could be a little difficult, just a heads up there. Again, if you bag them and you put them on the side instead of waiting for those machines to come sucking them all up, it's probably going to be better to do that for sure, and bag them up as quickly as possible. So here's your wind gusts over the next few days. Breezy, breezy winds. Oh yes, looking good here. A little bit of a break Wednesday morning, but then the next one swings in. That kicks the breezes right back up again, and they won't settle until Thursday morning. It'll be past 8 though. I think by the afternoon, from what I'm looking at anyway right now, those winds will have finally relaxed. Let's see. Hi, John. Oh, I did have a good day. It was a very busy and a very productive day. Beautiful day, too, although my productivity was inside and not outside. Hopefully you got to enjoy it. Some mild days ahead, too. That's the nice thing for sure. Speaking of, here's my next slide showing the temperatures here. So you'll notice 60s, low mid 60s for Monday, a little closer to 60 Tuesday, but my gut's telling me this might be a touch higher. Wednesday, I already mentioned this, but I'll say it again because I know a couple people have just joined us. I'm wondering if we could get closer to 70 degrees here on Wednesday. I believe I already bumped it. I think it was 3 degrees today, but when I haven't forecasted in 2 days, I'm a little less brazen when it comes to big bumps, unless something is very glaringly obvious. And I could see some, I saw some counterpoints to it also, so I held off, but I could see the 70 happening for sure. Adam, you said you had a lot of coffee today. 4 cups. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of coffee. See, after 2, and if I do it back to back, like I get that heart fluttering, so I have to space it out. I can't do it, like I can't go too crazy. Or I'll space it out with tea to kind of help give some caffeine gradually. Yeah. And then I started that mushroom coffee craze crap or whatever. It's okay. It actually does help. And yeah, it actually helps with the mood too, which is kind of nice because I get crabby a lot in the morning. My husband always, oh my gosh, he never stops talking about it, how I am a slow riser. And I'm like, you know what? I did the morning show for 8 years. I was an early riser for 8 years. I've earned it. But anyways, I digress. I'm about to go on a rant there. I'll stop now while we're ahead. Anyway, quick dip to seasonally cool conditions Thursday, and then we just start to turn milder and get into the weekend. I only bumped Friday by 2 degrees, but this is another day where I saw some temperatures at higher levels in the atmosphere, and I said to myself, if I have a 66 for Wednesday, and I'm debating a 70 for Wednesday, maybe I should be in that same vein for Friday. We'll see. I think it definitely will depend a lot on the timing of our next system, and that's a little up in the air heading into the weekend. Some are as early as later Friday, others are kind of more delayed. It's a mess figuring out what these quick little pulses dropping down from central Canada are going to time. And speaking of which, look at that. Hey, there was one of them just scooting through. You'll notice as I show you our upper level pattern, this is about mid-level of the atmosphere, just to give, well, not the entire atmosphere, I'm sorry, the troposphere, just to give some perspective on this. The troposphere is where weather happens, so this is where we're looking. And you'll notice there's a big area of high pressure here, milder air trying to spill in through the middle of the week here. The cold just locked up in the north, but the cold might try again. It tried and fell off the bandwagon. I'm a little more hesitant too this time around about it for making it in by this time next week, or Monday, I guess. Not quite this time next week, 8 days later, I guess. We'll see, because that quickly fell off the bandwagon too last time. But notice this cold core of air. Notice the mild air slipping in ahead of this on Friday. And then we get these weak little waves. There's one trying to move through. Here's another. The question is, after this secondary one for the weekend, first of all, when does it time? And then can we dig in that cold air behind it? No, this is where I'm questioning it a little, because, you know, last time when I said that it might happen 2 days from now on Tuesday, you know, we had this signaling, but we also had two of our big picture patterns that help control, so to speak, or are usually good indicators of cold air in the east, northeast, so our area, so to speak. The signaling is even weaker. You know, we're kind of going in the opposite direction of what's usually favorable, so I'm very hesitant to jump on the bandwagon with this one right now. I mean, I would say it looked decent, you know, this time last week where I was telling you, oh hey, on Tuesday the 4th we might get this. I'm even less confident that by Monday the 10th that this will happen. In fact, the one thing too that I did want to point out was that it did look like it would be a quick hit of chilly air and then a swap to mild, and the milder part of that is happening and mostly dominant here. And I think regardless of whether or not this cold happens, there will be a shift back to milder at some point later in the week. More than likely anyway. It's just that they continue to favor near seasonal to mild temperatures. I really am not seeing, at least beyond what Tuesday would have brought but isn't going to bring. I really didn't see any big long-term signals of cold. Not saying that a cold burst can't slip in, of course, but the favorability, you know, sometimes you have to work these things aren't 100% clear. It's more pattern recognition than anything, and the patterns are not lining up for it. Doesn't mean it can't happen. It's just probability. From a probability standpoint, the chance is low. That's the fun of climate forecasting, long range and climate forecasting. And then, of course, like I said, that cold air, if it gets in, it's out quickly, maybe a couple days stay at best, and then look at this, back is the mild. But I do want to point out, though, sort of that La Nina storm track trying to set up where it dips down through the Great Lakes and up through the Northeast. I mean, I'm seeing it, and as we get the cold, maybe we can drive it in farther south. Maybe we can get, you know, some of these storms to track a little more to the south. I mean, obviously, I'm thinking, you know, I'm not talking anytime soon. I'm talking long term through the winter season. That's something that we will be considering when we put together and officially crunch through the numbers this week for our winter weather forecast. Other things too, like where is snowpack now at this time? I'll admit, since like early October, I really haven't looked too much at it. We'll also have to look for ocean temperatures up near Greenland. That also helps play a big role too. And there are a lot of other factors too. But I think La Nina will be a big driver this year. A weaker polar vortex will help us with getting some of those pieces of cold air that just break off from the Arctic and then try to, when you have a La Nina pattern, you can get that cold air. Right off the bat though, I mean, I don't forecast for places like the Great Lakes, upstate New York, New England. I think they could have a snowier season this season. The question is, are we going to make that cutoff, or are we going to end up somewhere in between, or are we going to get totally gypped if the storm track doesn't come south enough? There'll be a lot of things that we look into as far as that goes. That's what makes it always so interesting and fun to go through, though. Many things. Oof, I love it. I get all nerdy, if you can't tell. Anyway, so we'll take it back here. We'll put a little pretty bow on it. Leave some time for some questions as I wrap up here. So Monday, Tuesday, obviously dry. One of those weak waves will move through Wednesday that I pointed out. Later in the day and through the evening, there could be a few showers. I mean, we are not looking at much rain. This is probably going to be drops in the bucket more than any kind of substantial rain. Next chance that we're looking at, maybe a late shower Friday into Friday night, depending on the timing. Maybe a few early showers or two. Trying to linger Saturday morning. Hard to say at this point. But I don't know, something just tells me faster is going to be the way this works. The way that pattern's set up, it's for woof, woof. Sound effects included, guys, yeah. And then our next chance for some showers is going to come on Sunday, but again, this forecast, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm telling you right now, there will probably be tweaks to this one. I would absolutely anticipate changes for sure. But yes, I think that's really it, unless anybody has any questions. I know the material this week has been a little lacking in weather. I have some things that I've been holding off on, and I kind of didn't want to whip them out now just because I felt like I had to. But I feel like, we had a solid conversation there, right? Got some weather in, got some nerdy stuff out, had a good time doing it. At least I hope so. Hope I'm not talking 45 minutes just for nothing, but hey, you guys all join in and whatnot, and that always makes me so happy. And so many of you too, like repeat people. It's just incredible. I really do like it. It's just getting into the nitty gritty and being my nerdy self is just amazing. Keith, what is the meaning of life? Oh my goodness, I go down that rabbit hole sometimes because does anybody ever think about, like, I get too into my subconscious where I'm like, I'm a living, thinking person. Like, I know me and what's in my head and not the world around me. What happens when me ends? Like, it's just like crazy. Like, I go down that. I try not to think about that too much because yeah, Jonathan, late again, but you're so late. And no, Jonathan, no snowstorm. I know you're just being funny, though. No snowstorm yet, Jonathan. And yes, I'm sorry. I did address that. The cold burst I had called for a week ago. I'm scrambling my egg because remember I said I'd wear the egg on my face? I'm wearing the egg on my face. It's the latter. Keith, thank you. But yes, Jonathan, it was a boring week in weather, though, so I really don't think you missed too much other than talking about, depressing sunset times and stuff like that. I don't know. Unless it makes you happy. Most people, damn it. Hey, they tried to filter, damn it. I'm okay with that. It's not like you're saying a curse. Yeah, no problem, John. Thank you for tuning in. Jonathan, if you have any questions, I got about 5 more minutes or so. If nobody has any questions, though, I'll just wrap it early. It's not a big deal here. It really wasn't much, Jonathan. It's just a mild and breezy week ahead. Very little to no rain. The weekend, looking like a little bit of a cluster. The timing and placement's going to be key here, but unfortunately it doesn't look like much meaningful rain. Sunday's the only one that has a chance of that, and it wouldn't be a big soaker like what we just got last week. Probably like a half-incher at best. And that's assuming we get it. The Euro's the only one that's kind of on it right now. But the Euro's my boy. But it doesn't mean, sometimes the GFS gets on a roll too. And, Canadian has shown up a good bit in the last few months. I have to say, it's impressed me at times where the others didn't. So, all right, good night, Adam. Thank you for jumping in and joining yet again. And then, yeah, I know, it definitely is not a very exciting week. I mean, that's probably for the best because we are actually going to be crunching through and working on our winter weather forecast this week. And after the crazy busy week that I had, oh my goodness, I am just so happy that working on this winter weather forecast is hopefully, oh my gosh, knock on wood, but I'm sure this is fake wood, so, oh no, and this is probably this desk drawer is probably fake wood too. It's probably all fake wood. Jason! I was wondering when you were going to pop on. It might be the end almost, but I'm glad to see you. 45, holy tamale. That's a lot. No wonder you're here late. You were a busy person today. And did I see your picture of the wind damage? No, I didn't. Was that from Friday? I'm sorry, I was so busy all weekend. Between, Ava's birthday on Friday and then her party, my parents came up too. It was so crazy. No, Ava wasn't an Eevee. She was an axolotl. Yeah, she wanted to be Cinnamoroll. It's a Hello Kitty character, but we could not find a Cinnamoroll costume for her. But Mike found this not Hello Kitty. Mike found this axolotl costume instead. She loves them. She's got these little axolotl plushies. They can be pink and they can be gray, and she of course likes the pink ones. Yeah, for Halloween. She did get a lot of Pokemon cards though for that binder, Jonathan. Oh my gosh, that binder now weighs a lot. Mike gave her a binder so she could organize her cards, and it's so adorable because she'll rearrange them. She'll pull pages out and add more so she can put them in. It's absolutely adorable. Yeah, please send it to me again. I'm so sorry I missed it. I was just incredibly busy, Jason. I really was. It was just a wild, crazy week. Busy at work, busy at home. Crazy weekend, not even a lot of time. I probably would have just loved to lay on the couch all weekend and do nothing. Not that I ever do that anyway, but that would have been the weekend for it, for sure. Hey, it was a time. I'm going to take a sip quickly. I talked a lot without beverage. Not a paid sponsorship. I will cover it. I do not do freebies. Especially nowadays, man. Yeah, it was fun. She has this cute little book too about axolotls. I think it's really cool. Apparently they can regenerate body parts, like if they lose like a part of their tail or like a little arm or a leg or something like that. And I guess scientists are trying to study the cells or whatever gene it is that helps them heal so that maybe they can help one day grow body parts for humans too, which would be really good for, amputees and whatnot, and, people just born without. I mean, that'd be incredible. With the way technology is going, that would be amazing, wouldn't it be? To have answers for those folks, and especially servicemen and women who, go overseas, sacrifice, and come back, not whole. I mean, that would be incredible if we could help them in that fashion. Anyways, I blah, blah, blah. I blab forever. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. And too late. Already saw the brand. Darn it. Darn it. Don't tell. It was bad. You said Rescue 99 was there. Oh, wow. Oh, it was in West Perry Township right up the road? Okay, yeah. You'll have to post it on one of my more recent... excuse me. Yeah, now it's a soda. Now bleh. Anyway, a little bubbly there. Yeah, put it under one of my more recent posts. I'll take a look at it. Maybe I'll try to sneak it in to maybe my newscast or something and show, hey, we went from crazy winds to a quieter weekend. That might be something of note. I'll give you credit, Jason. Of course. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. All right, everybody. Well, I'll leave it here. Thank you all for joining. We'll see you next Sunday. I'll be here. Woohoo! Enjoy the quiet week ahead in weather. Hope you all have a wonderful night and a wonderful Monday ahead, too.